Finally, let's go.
Instagram's always weird and always gives issues and all this fun stuff, which I don't know why it does that, to be honest with
I have 5 people on standby to ban us right now, Nick.
you. That's fair. It can happen very quickly. So thanks for joining me, James. For anyone who doesn't know James, of my followers, James is a strength and conditioning coach that specializes in working with mixed martial artists. And realistically, working with James and getting to know him more as just a general person, he's got a lot of great insights about mindset. And we always talk about how he keeps and helps people keep pretty much their mind straight after getting kicked in the face, because it's very tough to do.
It's very tough to do, and there's really no planning for it. However, you can pre-plan for it. So that's kind of that thing. And yeah, so I like you were just saying, I specialize with martial artists, right? I do, obviously I could train anybody, I could train everybody. However, that is a little bit more of the niche that I've been in, because I've been a martial artist for 23 years, so it's why not put A and B together,
Yeah, exactly. It makes a lot of sense because, I mean, since I've got to know you over this fun time span of everything, you've been training forever, you've been fighting for a while and stuff, so it's really cool. And then just listening to your different mindset stuff, and I love how you said that you can't really expect to get kicked in the face or plan for it, but you can prepare for it. And like, what are your best what would you say are your best tactics to prepare for something like that? Just get your mindset right, not even for fighting, but like life in general, just some of those things.
You just said something, and that's the direction that I was going to go in. So it's because when I joined the martial arts, I had joined for other reasons, right? Mm-hmm. But as I got along, and for many people who join the martial arts who they join for self-defense, they might want to lose weight, they want to really get in really good shape, but then they end up finding out all the things that the martial arts have to offer. Yeah. And then their goals entirely shift, because now it's about how well can I perform, all the people that I'm around, like the community that I can get involved in, right? Yeah. And I have found out that how you get it teaches you a lot about how you respond to life. Mm-hmm. And notice how I just said that, because I said respond. Yeah. Because we're so quick to react as just animals. Let's just call ourselves animals. Like, we're humans, but we are animals. Like, if I get punched in the face, if someone were to come up onto me in the street and just push me, right? Yeah. Although it typically doesn't happen like that. Altercations start with some sort of verbal or stare. I don't know if, what you've been involved in or anybody else. However, there's a lot of symbolism when in the martial arts, when you have to get hit, or if you get submitted or taken down, that you have to be able to come back from. Mm-hmm. And some things that we'll talk about life, some things and tips, and not necessarily steps, but that you can take with you to be able to recover fast from getting knocked down when life gets you. Yeah. So step number one, accept it.
That's
And we were talking about this not too long ago, and you and I went out for coffee. We did, but so let me expand just a little bit. Mm-hmm. It is a guarantee in life that you will in some sort of way be knocked down, that you're going to have hardship, you're going to have adversity. Mm-hmm. The earlier that you accept that and have a better relationship with adversity, the better off that you are going to be. Yeah. That's because a lot of people that I have seen go after finding happiness in life. Yeah. And that's I think, honestly, neither here or there. Because, and here's why I say that. Happiness is a byproduct of how you live. The people that you are around, the purpose that you live in. Mm-hmm. So where most people feel that they lack is that they've lacked purpose in their life. And I know that I'm going kind of off on a little different direction, but this comes together. Yeah, right?
I'm sure. It usually does with us.
It usually does with us, exactly.
Get back to the point.
That's the best part.
Yes.
So So when we are connected with purpose and the things that we feel called to, we are naturally going to feel happier.
Yeah.
So because if I'm living in purpose, it's now it's just, it doesn't matter if I'm happy, if I'm going to go through bouts of sadness, anger, happiness, and positivity. I'm going to have roller coasters, but because I feel connected with something, I can live a much more purposeful, driven life.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Right. So now going back, the earlier that I can accept getting hit, the earlier that I can accept that bad things are going to happen just because of the raw nature of where I've put myself.
Yeah.
It's that now I can start to just see through the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people look for a step-by-step thing, or a lot of people look for, okay, what's the solution to something? How do I get over this?
Yeah.
And this could be anything, by the way. I just lost my job.
Yeah.
There could have been a death in the family.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just saying very real things right now.
Yeah.
I just got this debilitating injury that is going to set me back.
Yeah.
Whatever. My car, I got something happened with my car. Now I lost my car. Now I'm in a financial rut, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The earlier that you are, like, the victory favors the prepared.
Mm-hmm.
That's who victory does not favor good or bad people.
Yeah.
Victory favors who's more prepared in life.
Mm-hmm.
If you are more prepared financially, if you're more prepared physically, if you're more prepared mentally, if you're more prepared spiritually, victory is going to favor you more.
Yeah.
So that's why it takes a village
Yeah.
to raise a champion. There's no such thing as a self-made man.
That's true. Yeah. You need help along the way.
Exactly.
That's where, and like to really bring your whole point into like a broader perspective, it's like understanding your full goal. That's really what it is. Your purpose is your goal. So if you have a goal, when adversity hits you, it's like, all right, fine, whatever. But I know my end goal is this, like to be a world champion, or to do this, or to just provide for my family. That's my end goal. So when life gets you down, it's like, remember your end goal, and you're not going to give up on your end goal because you came up with it. It's your end goal, not someone else's.
Exactly. And it's funny how you say that, because I know we started off on the topic of like, how do you like, if you get hit in the face, how do you respond? Yeah. What are your step-by-step action? And obviously this is going in the life talk. Duh. Like, have we been in the same room when we're talking about this stuff? So now, and I would say after that, in terms of life, because getting respond to being punched in the face is a little bit, believe it or not, there's shorter steps, because I got to get right back in it, right?
True, yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's much more active. But if you're going to respond to a life knockdown or getting hit in the face, the next thing that I would say is, after you accept it, and this is a hard question, but if you ask this question, you're going to spend some time with it. You're going to think that you have an answer at first, but then it's going to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
But if you ask this question that I'm going to say, then it's going to force your self-awareness. It's going to force a permanent solution, and it's going to help you apply this in other ways so that you can take this with you or anywhere you go, so you don't have to keep going through this process. You'll get faster at accepting it. You'll get faster at being able to bounce back. You'll be getting faster at being able to find the lessons, right?
Yeah.
So the next question that you have to ask yourself when you get knocked down in the face from life and you accept it is, what is this trying to teach me?
Oof. That's a deep one, yeah.
What is this trying to teach me? I broke up with somebody. I had a heartbreak.
Yeah.
I've had a pattern of heartbreaks. What is this trying to teach me? It's not about them. Take the focus off of them.
Yeah.
What is the pattern that I keep falling into that is making me have this result?
Yeah.
It's like somebody jabbing at me, and I can't figure out their left jab.
Yeah.
I keep getting hit with that hook. How do I follow with that hook? What's the pattern?
Yeah.
How do they keep setting me up? You
No,
see what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah. You follow along with the pattern. You follow along with it's if you keep getting hit in the face with a jab and it's a left jab and you're like, what's going on? And you don't move out of the way. Well, duh, you're
Yeah.
gonna teach you're gonna
Yes,
keep doing the same thing.
exactly. How am I positioning myself?
Yeah.
Where am I positioning in relation to you that is making me keep getting hit so that I don't have to as much, that I can go on offense?
Yeah.
There's a lot of symbolism that you learn from the martial arts that you could
Yeah.
take with you in life.
Yeah.
So I need to accept it. And what does this lesson keep trying to teach me?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can't find, for example, just, and this is my last point because I want to, yeah, obviously, but I'm just
Yeah.
getting the thoughts out, so I
Yeah.
apologize.
No, you're good.
It's so real life because no matter what it is, whether you lose a job, whether you go through a heartbreak, and whatever way that that may be, whether severe or smaller,
Yeah.
if you can't find a job, if
Yeah.
you it comes down to self-awareness
Hmm.
and how you are able to better yourself as a person.
Yeah.
Because I believe in God. You can call him universe, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call him.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
speak the same exact language.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
But if God keeps showing me this pattern,
Hmm.
clearly I am meant to break it. Patterns will not be broken until you learn the lesson.
Hmm.
So learn the lesson and
Yeah.
spend time with it. It may not come fast. It might take a while for it to show its and manifest and show itself. But where people really, really want to seek
Yeah.
isn't the solution. They want to seek clarity, because I can then see through the clouds to be able to give my own solution and answer, because that's the beauty of free will and the
Yeah.
gift that we have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the control. We can take control of the situation, which is really what we all want to do, to be fair. It's
Exactly.
Like, if life gets you
Exactly.
down, it's like you want to take control of it and stop getting beaten up by life, we'll say, or whatever it is, the same person. And that's such a great point of, and I've talked to people about this, it's a never ending pattern. And from a physical standpoint, like from what I deal with, it's the same concept of you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and it's not getting better. Well, maybe you should get it looked at. You know what I mean? Like, you've tried stretching 1,000 times. You've tried rolling it out 1,000 times. You've tried this exercise 1,000 times. It's not gotten better. Something's trying to teach you something. Your body's trying to teach you, this is not what I need. And it's the same, like you said, with life. It's like, okay, what is this situation? And it takes a while because emotions drive everything, as you know.
Yes.
And it takes a very, very hard time when you're something's going on and you're getting emotional about it. It's hard to see through the clouds. But if you can take the time, like you said, and I love that, you're like, sit with it, because it may not be right away, because yes, it won't be right away. Sit with it and see what you're trying to learn. And maybe it's something so simple of like, I got to take care of myself better. Like that basic thing of like, I need to exercise more. I need to be more mindful. I need to be more patient, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? You're constantly stuck in traffic every single day because you don't leave 1 minute earlier. Maybe leave a minute earlier.
It can it's in small and big ways, just like you said. And so it's funny because the way that you deal with people in a physical sense is a little bit, we're different. We come from like a very similar background though.
Yeah.
But it's on your end though, you deal with something arguably harder and more challenging, because how we store like energy in certain parts of our body. Yeah, you can get hurt from an injury, right? And you can recover, you can go through these steps, but I'm sure that you've seen that the pain that they're holding or holding onto is so symbolic of the inner battle that they're having with themselves. And people, I'm sure, like you see, like people like pain. And it's weird to say, but like people love holding on to pain and they're attached to it. And I'm sure you, of all people, because you deal with direct healing with people. Yeah. You probably see that more than other people, I would imagine.
Sometimes it's with more or less, sometimes it becomes their identity. And it kind of is like, and it's like, okay, that's fine. But it's like, how do we work ourselves out of that? And how do we overcome the pain? Some people like pain, but I don't know if they know. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a difference between liking pain and pushing yourself to your limits. Because as a fighter, like, there's a certain amount of discomfort you do feel when you're fighting.
Oh my God.
Let's be honest. I think when you got back into like BJJ full time and fighting full time and stuff, you were like, I remember, I think you came in and I looked at your arm. I was like, "You're right," and you're like, "Yeah, I'm just beat up." And I was like, "Okay," like,
Never mind.
yeah.
My bad.
But yes, you're right. It's when you deal with, it's a stress response, and then you have to remember what is your body trying to tell you when you're experiencing pain. Is something actually wrong, or is your brain remembering? And I've discussed this before. Is your brain remembering what happened last time you did a similar thing, and it's trying to make sense of the world? And that's really what like understanding life is, as from whether it's a mindful standpoint, a physical standpoint, whatever standpoint it is, it's your brain tries to, or your body tries to understand the world around you. That's
Yeah.
all you're doing. You know what I mean?
And because it's a survivalist's mindset. Like we don't, and that's kind of the cool thing is because we both have the same word in our brand, which is resilience.
Yes, exactly.
And it's so funny because like when we met, I'm like, I don't know anybody else with that. What the hell's going on here?
That was such a weird thing because you showed me your logo, and then obviously on the back of my shirts it says "Achieve Resilience" and all that stuff. And you're like, "Dude, wait, I got to show you this."
Yeah, wait, hold on, wait a second. Yeah,
and you're like, "Yeah." And so that resilience aspect, and the definition of it is there's multiple, but like the one I posted about and I like the most is your ability to spring back from something.
Yeah,
and like think about that. You know, what are you working with your athletes? You're working on, one, obviously getting them stronger, getting them prepared for fighting, getting all that stuff. But two, you're preparing them to, if they get a setback, because nothing hurts anybody more than a setback. Everybody can be consistent if everything is going great. You know, life's wonderful. It's easy to be consistent. You're increasing your weights at the gym, you're doing better, you're losing weight, everything is going perfectly. It's like, oh, consistency, I could do that all day. Until life gets hard, then it's like,
yeah, that's true. Because and two, like how you going back to like what you were saying about the body, because what the body remembers, it's really, that's a really interesting thing, because from a survivalist standpoint, like how we said, people like you who also, aside from being able to heal physically, you're addressing, and you kept saying this to me in our sessions when I was like when I was going through it. Yeah. Which was that this is like to like calm first, like stay calm. This is just your body responding, right? Like you're healing, you're doing okay. Yeah. But this is your body like trying to figure out and know that it's okay and it's getting better, because your body will hold that memory of like, nope, oh, this is hurt. Like, oh God, like if I move in this direction, right? And what you're trying to do is, and like I said, like in a both different way, you're trying to show people that it's okay, and if I can help you just like calm down, see through the clouds, kind of like how we were just talking, that you can be able to live a much more fulfilling life in a thriving sort of way. Yeah, and people, I think we talked about this the last time, but I would argue that people are more afraid of success than they are failure. Because success is very, like, and that's why I think, and tell me like what you think, but I think people don't want to heal because of one of the reasons that people don't want to heal is because success is much scarier and there's comfort in failure.
Well, if you've known that your whole life, then yeah. Because then you can blame.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, that makes sense. It's like, it's so easy to put it in. That's why I enjoy talking to you about mindset things, because when you bring it down to combat sports, it's very simple when you bring it down to that level. It's like, okay, I lost this, let's say I lost the title match. And like, that means that you lost the title match. You can blame everything. You can blame yourself. It may be more comfortable, whatever it is, but like the success of winning a title match, that's scary as hell. Because then you're the best. Yeah. And that's like a scary feeling, to be the best at something. You're the best at that weight. And then it's like, okay, well now you have 50, 60 people, whatever it is, coming at you, coming after you. And then there's always going to be people that don't agree that you're the best. Oh, he won by whatever it is. But like, that's a scary thought. And like you said, like whether it's healing or not, like the success of just getting through something can be scary, because it's like, ooh, Now how do I do better? You may not know the steps to do better. That's usually why people have coaches, all that stuff. That's another tangent for another time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's like, you kind of wonder yourself, how do I get better? Because it's like, okay, well, if I fail or I'm always in pain or whatever it is, you can always have little wins here and there, and then you're fine. You have like a little thing to hold on to, which is great. Now, can you keep stacking that? And then eventually you stack that to success, but some people may hit that pivotal point where it needs to, like, let's say just like the turning point. And then they don't do the turning point thing they need to do, because then it can set them back. And then it's like, okay, well, I know what I need to do. So then you're stuck in a cycle, and it's kind of like, oh, well, I kind of like this cycle because I know I have control. Once again, it comes down to control. I have control of this. If I lose every title match, I have control that I can keep working harder, and I'll lose, and then I'll fail, and then I'll just work harder again. Whereas when you're the best, you don't know you're the best, and you have to show people you're the best.
Yeah.
That's one of those things.
Yeah, no, and that's a really, really good point. And that's where you'll see a lot of champions start to fold. You know, whether in UFC, boxing, wrestling, it doesn't matter, right? Even I'll bring it back to this, like, even just going back to like regular life, like people's vulnerability will change to an experiencing fulfillment of life when they're at their high. And I don't know if you ever heard of the woman, she's amazing to listen to. Her name is Renee Brown.
Yes.
And she's a coach on vulnerability. I think we talked about her.
Yeah.
And one of the most, I think, significant things that radiated and that with just truth to life is there's susceptibility. The most susceptible one is a mother watching her child sleep. Because when there's a mother like who just put their like 2-year-old baby down to bed, and they're admiring this child, and they're looking at its beauty and looking at its pureness and its innocence and its potential. And they're looking at it and they're just admiring it so deeply, and they're smiling, and it's warm, and like this moment they're so present. And then there becomes this overwhelming feeling of anxiety to follow after, of, oh my God. And like, then you think of the worst things, like, what if my child just dies right now? What if, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, horrible things. But that's like that's a very nature thing for like us. That's like a more extreme, not necessarily extreme, but more prevalent example. Like, what if something really bad's about to happen right now? You know, things are going really good in business. I am winning in life. Like all these tiny little things. I'm healthy. My business is thriving. I'm physically healthy. My family's doing great. I have friends. Shit, what's about to happen to me?
Yeah.
You know?
No,
so,
that's how it goes, yeah.
And that's how it goes. But that comes from our ability to disconnect from vulnerability. And I think that's with martial artists. I think that's with life. I think that's with business owners. When you have things going right, somewhere in your head, your relationship with vulnerability is going to tick if you don't directly work with your level of like inner vulnerability and strength. I mean, but I heard something yesterday I think you would love. To be able to deeply grieve is to have loved fully. So when you give that chance for vulnerability, although there is that chance of weakness, of sadness, of negativity, or loss, on the very equal and opposite side is where there is good and there is love, and there are champions made. And there are champions kept.
Well,
so
that's true.
Right?
That's so many aspects of life is just that saying right there. And that's like an amazing way to look at it. It doesn't have to be love, it could be anything. But like
anything.
When it comes down to that aspect of, you have to take the raw weaknesses, whatever it is, like to feel weak, to be vulnerable and all that stuff. And being vulnerable is hard to do. And it's in every sport, everything in life. Why do people struggle losing weight? Because it takes them to have to be vulnerable to understand that they're not doing the best for themselves.
Bingo.
Same concept as like, why are you not lifting more weight? You have to be vulnerable that maybe your technique's not good. Maybe your programming's not good. You know what I mean? Why are
Well
you
put.
not getting out of
Well put.
pain? Maybe it's this way, this X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Like you have
Yeah.
to understand that it's a lot of work to be vulnerable and it sucks. But if you're not vulnerable, you'll never get past the good. You'll never get to the good part.
Yes. You'll never get to it. That's the invisible fence that's in your way.
Yeah.
To go from this to where you are, and I know you're comfortable there because you can see consistency. Everybody's love language is consistency.
Yes.
Everyone's love language is consistent. It doesn't matter what it is,
Yeah.
but everyone loves consistency. They love because it's the variable of control, and I know what to expect.
Yes.
And then there's those smaller category of people who just love the high of life. You know, you take the more extreme of being like of that feeling of a champion, or that in whatever regard that is, like, because you could define champion in many different ways, but in like a martial arts sort of sense, there's nothing like it. That high in whatever category of martial arts is that for that moment there it is like one of the pinnacles of like human achievements, it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, then the keeping that, now you're talking about something different. Now you're not becoming a champion. You are a champion right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now what's next? And that's what everybody at the higher level struggles with. Like, oh, what do I just keep defending titles? That's why I see a lot of people retire afterward. That's why I see a lot of people be like, oh, I'm good. And then they just kind of give in and they'll lose their title and be like, all right, well, I was champion. So they identify themselves as that.
Mm-hmm.
But what the next stage is, legacy.
Yeah.
And building a legacy.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Tom Brady. He don't gotta keep going, but look at him now. He's oh shit. All right, well, what else do I gotta lose right now? All right, I might as well win another championship.
Yeah.
And it takes a different thing. And I'm not saying everybody else has to be that, but to be resilient and to have a foregoing mindset. Asking yourself what's next, there has to be a somewhat sacrifice or degree of sacrifice in comfort.
Yeah.
There has to be. To live in total comfort, I mean, personally, I think you and I are both like the same person, and that scares the shit out of me.
Yes, you have to be a little uncomfortable.
You have to have a degree of uncomfortability, a degree, right? And that can go in different seasons. That's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the more uncomfortable you are, more likely there's more to learn. So there's more lessons to be learned from the patterns like we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, to get there, when you win that championship and you're winning in life and your business is doing well and your family's healthy and you're having all these amazing times in your life, don't lose your vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
It's because those experiences is what makes that worth it. And the thing to combat negativity, the thing to also keep the positivity going in your life, no matter what it is gratitude.
Yeah.
Practicing gratitude is such a real skill. And I trained this one guy, Rich, years ago, and he said something so significant, and it just stuck with me. Mm-hmm. I may be having a really bad life. I may be having a really bad day right now. Yeah. I may be in a really hard season, but life is good, and it's always good. It's like, I may be having a bad day, but life's good. Yeah. I may be having a shitty month, but life's good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might be like I might be dealing with injuries and all this shit as an athlete or whatever. This moment may suck. This temporary suckness factor is at a 10.
Yeah.
But life's good, and fighters fight. Yeah. We all have a degree of the level of fighter in us. Yeah. Fighters fight at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if you lose, fighters fight.
Yeah.
I lost. I got a heartbreak. Lovers love.
Yeah.
I don't stop loving because what I do is love. And that is much more valuable to me than just living in a state of survivability and not loving somebody or not doing what I love to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's a good way to like bring this full circle, kind of wrap up this live, is because if you think about it, like what James just said about fighters fight, life is good. And it comes, like we talked about very in the beginning, is there's two things you got to look at. Is like, accept that life's going to get you down, because it is. Not everything's going to be hunky-dory, and that's okay. Then it's, what am I trying to be taught? And if you can see that, it's even greater. And then the main thing, though, is realizing that there's seasons, there's moments. Don't get me wrong. Everyone has these down times, and that's fine too. But eventually life is good and you'll be on top again. And I think that's a good way to like bring it full circle of like how to get yourself out of a rut. Like just be grateful for some things. Like maybe you were able to, like, you lost a pound, or maybe you had Thanksgiving and you were able to eat and feel confident about just eating. And you're like, I don't give a shit. I ate everything in sight. And you're happy about that. You know, like, life's good in that aspect. So always, if you go towards like what's your ultimate goal in life, and maybe it's to be a successful business person, maybe it's to just have a happy family, maybe it's just to be happy overall with your choices. And how do you do that? You keep sight on the end goal and what is your total goal of what you want it to be. So that's a very good point, and I think that's like a very good wrap up summary of pretty much what we were talking about all for this last half hour or so.
Yeah. Right? I don't even know what time it is, but
so James, thanks for joining me. We're gonna do more, me and James, because he has a lot of insight on the whole mindset thing, especially because of the way, like I said, a lot of things in life can really be easily compared to fighting sports or martial arts sports. Not all sports can have it, but like that one is like, you know, you're getting kicked in the face. Let's be fair. Or you're getting choked out, you know, like kind of rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, James. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your rest of the weekend, everyone else. And I think this was awesome.
Dude, can't wait to have you on my podcast.
Yes. Let me know.
Yeah, we're going to get to know Dr. Nick very deeply and very soon. So if you're watching, do that.
Yes,
absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, no, dude, thank you. And I hope you have a great weekend yourself, man. Rest of the Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later, James.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll catch you later, man.